All right, guys, we're live from the City of Angels. I barely got up. I'm not even kidding you. Literally, I woke up like 5 seconds ago as this goes live from coast to coast in LA. I am watching from Beverly Hills, and Scott Menzel joins us from Sundance. He
Yes,
is still
sir.
there. You ready to do this, Scott Menzel?
I am ready. I am ready. I'm half
It-
asleep, but I'm ready.
So am I, trust me. All right, here we go. I'm watching it live on ABC, so we'll be able to get it as quick as possible because the live feed beats YouTube any day of the week. So as I see it, I'll call it and we'll discuss it. What we're expecting to see here today, obviously, is a very big day for both Oppenheimer and Barbie as the two top nominated films this morning coming from Beverly Hills. Any surprises you see right now, Scott? You want to point one out before we get these?
I mean, there was a lot of things that were not shortlisted in like the like the creative arts categories, which was interesting.
Yeah,
Like how Guardians was not in like hair and makeup is actually kind of surprising. Like why that was never shortlisted.
it's some of those films just they don't view it as an awards film, right? You see it happen so often. It's like this is a comic book movie, so it can't be an awards film, which you guys know we've talked
Yeah,
about so often on MMT. Bullshit. All
yeah,
right, so here it's Zazie Beetz and Jack Quaid, correct? I believe that's who we have
correct.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Are they walk? Do you just have them walking on your side too,
no,
or
they're
am I
talking. They're
like
talking right now. They're talking.
okay?
So I'm going
They're
to see
already
it like a
talking.
second before you. So I'm hoping because I have the volume down. I've got the TV over in the corner. What we're going to do is we'll have as soon as I see it, I'll call it, and we're going to get. I think we're going to get half of them right now, and then about 15 minutes. Here we go. Actor supporting role. Here we go. You guys ready? Here are your five. Always interesting. Sterling K. Brown gets in. I called that. He's in
Yep,
for
me too.
American Fiction. De Niro's in Killers of the Flower Moon. No surprise so far. 3 is Robert Downey Jr. Of course, he's going to win this, so he's in.
Yep,
Okay. Ryan Gosling, again,
yep,
locked. So far, I'm 4 for 4.
yep.
Mark Ruffalo gets in. I did not
Oh
have
my
that. He didn't get
god.
anywhere. It's a terrible performance, a laughable performance, but he does get in. That isn't a Razzie performance, but he is in. All right, here we go. Costume design. We'll talk about this after we get through as many as we can here. Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon. Napoleon. Napoleon gets in. That's big for that film.
That is huge.
Oppenheimer, right? And Poor Things. The reason it's important for Napoleon is it's not going to get in very many places. So even if it get one, it can call itself an Academy Award nominee. Here we go.
Mhm.
Makeup and hairstyling. We got Golda. Golda gets in. I had that. That is the only time you're going to hear that this morning. Maestro is in. Oppenheimer is in. Poor Things. And finally, Society of the Snow. That is a bit of a surprise, but is probably like my 6th or 7th film. So that could get and should get 2 nominations. It's going to get in for international feature. Live action short, let's be honest with each other. No one really cares. Okay. I mean, I'll see these, right? We'll see these, right? It's The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue. And finally, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, which that is the Wes Anderson movie. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
going to
yeah.
win that. So that's the one you need to pay attention to in that category. Animated short, again, another category most people are not familiar with. Letter to a Pig, 95 senses. Our Uniform,
Wow, you're really ahead of me. Like it's
Taxidermy.
super delayed.
Yep. And The War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko Ono. So
Wow. So that Disney short film got snubbed.
what was the short? Was it the one from was it
Once Upon a Studio, which celebrates the legacy of Disney.
Well, apparently it did. Nominees for
Wow.
adapted screenplay, always interesting. American Fiction, no surprise, that's in.
We knew that was going to happen.
Barbie's in. We knew that was in.
Yeah.
3 is going to be Oppenheimer, no surprise so far.
Nope.
Everything's going as expected. Poor Things. Oh, God. Why? And 5 is Zone of Interest. So here we go. Zone of Interest is in. That means it's very likely in for picture, which means, color purple. I had it
Oh
in. I don't
yeah.
think. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
put it in just thinking it could get in there. That's really good for Zone of Interest. Anatomy of a Fall is in for original screenplay. That's not a surprise. It's one of the big contenders. Then we're going to see holdovers here momentarily. There it is.
Yep.
Again,
A holdover's the win.
everything is going according to plan. Maestro 3. I had that in. Some people did not. Let's go for May, December. Oh my
Oh
God.
my god. That's in
No.
there? No.
What? That is
worst,
laughable.
worst screenplay of the
Oh
year.
my God. You've got to be kidding me. In Past Lives, a very overrated film, but I'd rather see Past Lives there than, oh my God, I can't believe May, December
Past
got a
Lives has
nomination.
good scripts.
But you got to be kidding me
May
about
December.
May, December. Here's supporting actress, Emily Blunt. This is going to be, someone's going to get left out here. Who's going to be? Danielle Brooks. That's not a surprise. Color Purple has 1 nomination.
Divine has to be in here.
America Ferrera gets in. I had a feeling that would happen. There it is. She didn't get in very many places, if any. And there it is. Jodie Foster is in as well. And Divine Joy Randolph, who's going to win this. So you have the 5. That speech that America Ferrera gave, was that at Critics' Choice? Wherever that was, I think that was important to her getting in. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't showing up anywhere, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like, here's this. So there we go. We get our break. Okay, let's talk about what we just saw, and then we're going to get the rest of it, including the big ones: picture, director, actor, actress, all the huge ones. But let's start with supporting. I think everyone that I had in, except for Ruffalo. I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, Ruffalo's not like some crazy thing there, right? But at the same time, he really didn't have a whole lot of momentum going into this, but he does get in, Scott.
Yes. You know, I think the supporting categories showcase something about studios really, really pushing and believing in their talent. That's what I'm going to say about those two getting in. I mean, it's so funny because 2 days ago I was at I've been at Sundance, and I took Ruffalo out and I took America Ferrera out, and I
Yep.
knew I should have took America Ferrera out. I knew it.
I know.
Because I've been like champion that since like the very beginning as well.
I know. It's shocking that she didn't show up anywhere.
Yeah. It's weird.
And then boom. See, okay, so hold on. So I actually had her way back, because if you look at, she had nothing, right? She had no Critics' Choice. I'm not including this. She had no major things going on here. She had no SAG, no BAFTA, no Golden Globes, so none of that. And then she comes in and takes it. Rosamund Pike is out. I had her in, and then Penelope Cruz is out, right?
Well, we knew
and
that
then,
was going to be out. That movie was
but here's the thing. So Ferrari's probably going to get 0 now. So that is the first chance it had. You know, one of the only chances it had. It is a strikeout. Okay, let's go to supporting actor, and none of those are going to be all. You know, the biggest surprise there is going to be Ruffalo getting in over William Dafoe. William Dafoe
or Dominic Sessa.
But one of the two, because he had BAFTA, right? Ruffalo only had Golden Globes. He did not have anything else. Dafoe had SAG and Golden Globes. So you had the SAG, but they go with Ruffalo there, and then Sessa doesn't get in. And then, so Sterling K. Brown does get in. So the only one I missed on was Ruffalo, and that's because I find that performance laughable. I mean, it's so over the top. I get that's the point, but it's not one of my favorite performances of the year. Let's just put it as kindly as I can here. But it's too bad Sessa couldn't get in, because I believe he's worthy. And that would also be another sign for the holdover strength, right? If we can get all 3 of them in, and unfortunately he misses here.
Yep.
Let's go to
how about Air missing original screenplay? I mean, I know you mentioned about it the other day on the stream about how the importance of timing is, and I mean, this is a key sign of that, because that screenplay is probably one of the strongest screenplays of the year, but it's the timing.
Well, here's you listen. That film dropped, I believe, in March, right, of last year, so almost a year ago. Whenever you have a film that drops so early in the year, it's very hard to regenerate interest in a film because it's considered like, oh, people forget about it. So I know Amazon MGM tried to get it back into the mix, but the reality is it's just very difficult to do that, to regenerate interest in it. Okay, here we go. We've got the next slot. Get ready. Here come
Mine
the
hasn't
next.
even unloaded yet.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I've got I knew that the TV be faster. Nominees for original song. Barbie's going to probably get 2 here, and that'll help them help that film out. Diane Warren's in again for that song from Flaming Hot. Yep. I'm Just Ken is in. That's 1 for Barbie. There's going to be another coming up. Let's see what it is. Maybe they get 3. Let's find out if it's 2 or 3 for Barbie.
Isn't there a rule where they can only have 2?
Is it 2? Okay. It Never Went Away, American Symphony. That's from the documentary.
Yep.
And then the song from Killers of the Flower Moon is in. And let's see if Barbie gets another one in or not. Yes. What Was I Made For is in. So you get
Billie
2.
Eilish. Yep.
So there's 2 right there for Barbie. Those are your 5 songs. Here comes score, one of my favorite categories. We both know the importance of score to film. American Fiction is in. That is shocking to see American Fiction in score. Oh God, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oof.
If Zone of Interest does not get in here, Killers of the Flower Moon is in. No surprise. Oppenheimer's in, so at least it didn't get totally. That would be crazy. And Poor Things. If Zone of Interest didn't get in over American Fiction, we have
no.
How
about Indiana Jones?
No,
I mean,
both
it's literally this.
But at least it's John
Indiana
Williams.
Jones is the same. Yeah, but it's the same fucking score that we've heard 17 million times.
100%. Documentary feature film is going to be Bobby Wine, the People's President, The Eternal Memory, 4 Daughters, To Kill a Tiger, and lastly is 28 Days in Mariupol. So those are your 5. By the way, I'm so far behind.
28 Days is probably going to win that.
I think you're right on that. Documentary short, again, category that most people are like, yeah, okay.
Oh,
next.
Nobody knows what that is.
Here we go. The ABCs of book banning.
Yep, that one's going to win.
Is that Netflix? The Barber of Little Rock. Island in Between. The Last Repair Shop. That got a lot of buzz, that film.
That got a lot of buzz, too. It's in between that and the ABCs.
And then Nine Nye and WIPO. Those are your 5 doc shorts. Get ready. We're coming up on the biggies. Here we go. This is where the fun begins. International feature. We're going to see Zone of Interest, no question.
Yes.
Io Capitano gets in.
Society of the Snowmobile.
Perfect Days. So Io Capitano gets in. That means something missed here. Society of the Snow.
Yeah.
The Teacher's Lounge. It's got to be Zone of Interest. Yeah, because it's Z, the last thing, Zone of Interest. Okay, so what? I'm trying to think what missed. Something big missed there. Obviously, Anatomy of a Fall was not.
Well, I
France.
know.
There it is. France. The Taste of Things.
Of course. Which everyone knew was going to happen. Because
there you go.
We talked about this.
Animated feature. Boy and the Heron. Elemental.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Nimona. There, I said Netflix would get in. There it is.
Yeah.
Robot Dreams. Whoa!
Wow.
Holy crap!
Neon. That's huge for Neon.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's not a surprise. So obviously, Ninja Turtles did not get in. Wish did not get in. Migration did not get in. We'll go over that one here momentarily. Production design. Barbie. No surprise.
Yep.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Again, another lock for this category. Napoleon has 2 nominees for Best Production Design.
Wow.
That's a good call for that film, though. Oppenheimer and then Poor Things. So that goes pretty much according to plan there for production design. No surprise there. We have not had a major snub this morning except for The Taste of Things, which is, I know for most people, like, yeah, okay. But nominees for film editing, Anatomy of a Fall. That's a brilliant pick. It's one of the best edited films of the year. The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So that goes pretty much according to plan as well. Let's go to sound. This is where Ferrari, if it shows up at all, it's going to be right now. Here we go. The Creator. Oh, my God. Yeah. The Creator is an Oscar-nominated film. Oh, Maestro. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Not part 1. It's now just Dead Reckoning. Oppenheimer. And the Zone of Interest, that's a good call on the Zone of
Wow,
Interest. So,
Spider-Man also missed on that, huh?
yep, Spider-Man and Ferrari. Ferrari's going to get 0 nominations here this morning. Nominees for visual effects, it won't be Ferrari. My God, that
No.
crap is so bad. The creator is a 2-time Oscar nominee.
That makes
Godzilla
sense for that
-1.
category.
That's gonna make a lot of people happy. Godzilla. Guardians of the Galaxy gets in, so it does get its 1, so it's a Academy Award nominated film. Dead Reckoning is 4, and 5 is Napoleon. So we had some surprises there, and no Spider-Verse there. Spider-Verse was a possibility, even though it's animated. It does have an opportunity to land there. It didn't happen. Cinematography, El Conde. I had a feeling that might happen. It does. Killers of the Flower Moon. Maestro. Oppenheimer. And Poor Things. So Zone of Interest does not get in there over El Conde gets in. By the way, that is Netflix. Remember Netflix in the poll. Here we go. Actor in the leading role. Let's do this, everybody. Bradley Cooper's in.
Mm-hmm.
Coleman Domingo's in. That means Leo's probably out. Okay.
Yep. Jeffrey Wright.
Giamatti,
yeah. No Jeffrey Wright.
It wasn't. Just wait. Cillian Murphy, and it should be right at the end. Here comes 5 because he's W. Yep, Jeffrey Wright. So Coleman Domingo's in. Leo misses. Leo is out.
I got that perfectly, that one.
Yep, I took the roll the dice on the Leo. And by the way, Leo is one of the best performances of the year. That's an embarrassment for the Academy. Actress in a leading role. Here we go with Best Actress. Annette Bening is in. That is, I can't believe that. That is not a. It's a very, very average performance. Lily Gladstone.
I called that at Telluride, but I took it out of mine.
Sandra Huller's in. That means we have Margot Robbie might be out here. Let's find out. Carey Mulligan, and here's the last. It's going to be Emma Stone. So yeah, she doesn't get in. Margot Robbie doesn't get in.
That's a twist. America Ferrera over Margot Robbie. Whoa.
Well, but that's 2 different categories. But yes,
yeah. But in a movie
here comes
about
direction.
Barbie.
A direction. We have Trier in for Anatomy of a Fall. There we go. Watch out. Could this be Greta Gerwig's out? Scorsese.
Yep.
Nolan.
Yep.
Lanthimos gets in. I smashed it. And Zone of Interest. That means Greta Gerwig did not get a nomination. Wow.
Oof.
Wow. Ow. That is there goes
brutal,
Barbie's Best Picture. I am shocked. That is unreal to me.
That is brutal.
Best Picture. Let's do this. That means Color Purple's definitely not getting in here. American Fiction.
Yep.
Anatomy of Fall and Zone are going to get in here. American Fiction. I have to read all the producers. It takes forever in between each one of these. Anatomy of a Fall. It's going to be the PGA 10. It's what's going to be here. Here we go. It's going to be Barbie next. Oh my God, what if Barbie doesn't land here?
Oh my God.
No, Barbie's here. Barbie's here. That would be unreal if Barbie missed. All right, let's go. Holdovers. So far, this is the PGA 10. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Again, alphabetical. So if you're missing something, we'll know it. If my brain is, fully functioning here this morning, I'll know it. All right, there's the first 5. Maestro is in. Netflix is like, we're getting in. I don't care. We're going to put one of our films in.
I know.
It's going to happen. Biggest snub this morning is clearly Gerwig. Oppenheimer's in.
Oh, I can't believe that. That's baffling.
It's crazy. Okay, let's see what we got next. Past lives. So far this is the PGA 10. Really, and then you're going to look at Zone of Interest coming up here soon. Just give me a second. I mean, what's in between there? I'm trying to figure it out. Poor Things and crap. It's the PGA 10. And here comes Zone of Interest at number 10. I'm waiting for it. And yep, boom, that's it. So it's the PGA 10. We got the PGA 10 here for the Best Picture. So that is going.
Can we talk real quick and right away about how all of these critic groups? I mean, I'm going to even throw HCA in here.
Yep.
How so many of these have missed these things, and it goes to show you that PGA, SAG, and these ones are so important.
Yep.
more than anything
Talk to me.
else.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Well, it always is. That's how I had it stacked on Ace. I thought that we would see Color Purple somehow come up with
Me
the
too.
power of
Me
Oprah,
too.
right? The
Yep.
power of just the, wanting to give that film some acknowledgement. I think it's a very strong film. So I have, I'm a little bit disappointed. But,
Me too.
listen, for me, you guys know how I feel about Poor Things. I don't want to see it here. I don't want to see it anywhere, but it obviously got pretty much everything that was expected of that film. Oppenheimer 2, really none of the, other than Greta Gerwig, right, this morning. And I think you look
Margot
at
Robbie.
it's Barbie. It's Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig. Those are the two biggest snubs this morning, clearly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, I mean, when you look at it, other than that, which is important, don't get me wrong, and Leo not making it, there's no insane thing happening here. I think for me, the most insane thing for me to comprehend is Annette Bening and Naiad. It's not that it is a poor performance. It's just not at the level I would put so many people over Annette Bening and Naiad. Let me go pull it up here on Awards Ace, and I'll
But
show you what I have.
I say this every year, and people always don't listen. And I mean, I'm so disappointed with myself for second guessing myself on some of these choices.
Of
I
course.
mean, I would have had American.
Fantasia. How about
Oh, Fantasia.
Fantasia?
I mean, and also the fact of Fantasia not being in for what that could have meant for her.
Yep.
Too, just the idea of her potentially being that, what is that, EGOT, right? She would have been an EGOT if she got that.
Yeah.
And it's just such an empowering story too behind it. I mean, I thought she was amazing in the film.
It's unfortunate. The film ends up with one nomination, right? One for Danielle Brooks, which we knew she'd get, but again, one of the best films of the year. And now look here at my stack, and I've got to go obviously in here and get it to the nominees. But what I had,
You did really amazing on this, Eric. I got to tell you.
well, I appreciate that. I have Fantasia in there, and then I have, I had Holler right there, and I had Benning right there. So really, right, when we're talking about the 5 and then the next 2, you're talking about 7. It was, most of these were 7, possibly 8 that had a shot. So virtually everything that was in at least the 7th spot, no one came from all the way in the bottom. Although America Ferrera, I don't know why I had her down pretty far, like at 9 or 10. That was a mistake, but she showed up like virtually nowhere. That speech at Critics' Choice definitely helped her. But Barbie is, again, the loser here this morning because you have no Gerwig, which if you would have told me no Gerwig like 5 months ago, even right after Barbie, remember the heat that film got, right?
Oh,
Still
yeah,
to this
yeah.
day, and it's all about Greta Gerwig. So she is absolutely devastated. I don't care what they tell you
Oh,
about
she's
the stars
crushed right
not
now.
caring.
I'm telling you right
She is
now. She's
destroyed.
crushed. She's probably crying right now. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, because the reality is that everyone thought that I had her number 2 on the board just for the achievement, obviously the box office success of that film, the creative, way that she pushed that film and turned it into something that was certainly more than we expected from a Barbie film, whether you liked it or not. So it's a big loss, and Warner Brothers had a bad morning when you throw Color Purple and Barbie together. Just
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
expected Barbie, it didn't hit where they wanted everything, and then Color Purple ends up with the one lone nomination in supporting.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Color Purple legacy right now it's really kind of sad.
It's a movie that people are just going to forget about now. And people say, so here's the thing. So people say all the time, what's the importance of an Oscar nomination? Because you can instantly market it and forever be an Oscar nominee, right? So Napoleon has 2, Ferrari has 0, Air has 0, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, All of a Stranger
Saltburn.
0. I put it all together last night.
Dude, how about Saltburn?
Saltburn. I had a feeling.
Wasn't that money well spent on the
I had a
on
feeling
Amazon's part?
yeah, oh my God, right? I mean, listen, here's the reality is that that's a weird film, obviously, and I think a lot of people, the more people that I spoke to about that film, they hated the ending of it. and I get it, and especially a couple of the scenes, the grave humping scene, the bathtub
Yep,
scene,
yep, yep, yep,
that
yep.
just instantly got it out.
It's
It
polarizing. It's polarizing.
Oh, no question. So it didn't get in. Let's go to another category. We'll go to actor. And again, I had Leo in, but Coleman Domingo was
I
next
knew
in
Coleman was,
line.
dude. I knew Coleman was going to get in. I mean,
Well,
it's just,
tell me why, other than Netflix.
uh, I mean, it's just Coleman Domingo. I mean, he's the underdog, and
Yeah.
I mean that his performance is what saves Rustin. And every person who has ever met Coleman Domingo instantly falls in love with Coleman Domingo. And I think those two things combined work. They know he's a really strong actor. He's constantly been overlooked. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I mean, I'm very, not just me, but the members of the organization. Coleman Domingo, the first win he ever won was from us, from HCA for Euphoria. We were the first people to ever give him an award. But
Mhm.
I think his star has just continued to shine, and he's been in everything in the last couple of years. And I think that says a lot. And a lot of people really love him, and that performance is really good in a movie that's very mediocre, but he's very, very good in it.
Which we've seen in the past, right? You go
Oh
back
yeah, you
and
go
you
back
look
to
at
a Judy,
Harriet.
like if
Just how about
yeah, you
Harriet? Talk
Judy,
about a
Harriet, yeah,
mid-film.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
And Judy
exactly.
too.
And yeah,
By the way,
there's always
so
that
let's
movie every year. Like it's always there's always like something based on true story with some actor who is so much better than the rest of the movie. I mean, this is Oscar like
Hey, they don't call me
101.
the listen, they don't call me the ace for nothing. Can I just
Yep.
make sure that that's tr
You got
this I
every
wanna
single one of
state
these
that
fucking right. I
I
can't, yeah,
nailed
every one of
every single one of these, and everyone Weber doesn't know. Okay, really? Then why did I just pick the 4 films that all went home with 0
them.
Oscar
Zero.
nominations?
Yes. Yes.
All
Yes. Yes.
4 of these. So that's how you do it, y'all.
I like that
So
Zac
it's
Efron's trending like that was ever going to be a possibility.
let's talk about that, because this is another film Twitter. These people, I'm telling you, Scott, let me get you
Oh,
back up here.
how about
These people
how
are
about Charles
so
Melton?
clueless.
Where's our buddy Charles Melton?
Charles Melton.
Charles Melton.
Here's another opportunity to trash film Twitter here this morning, and I'll always take that. For those of you who've never been here on MMT, welcome, because that's my specialty, because they are so far removed from reality. Every single time Charles Melton's gonna win, Zac Efron's gonna get nominated. How many people did I hear that from? Like, you
Oh
guys
yeah.
don't know how this works. You guys really need to just stay out of the conversation. And I'm sorry, but and when you're that wrong that often, and people come after me, you know this, Scott, how often?
Yeah.
Every single day. Who's right every single time? Who's wrong every single time? Me right, them wrong. And they just don't have any grasp on reality. They thought Saltburn, all these films. Listen, I'm going to say this, and then I'll let you speak, because I'm pissed about one thing here. I love Air, and I love All of Us Strangers. The fact that All of Us Strangers, a Searchlight film, got
Yep.
screwed over for Poor Things. If you put those two films in a ring, the elegance, the beauty, not of Poor Things, of All of a Stranger,
Oh, I know. I agree
is
with
it's
this.
so
Yeah.
sad to me that film is going home empty-handed, and that doesn't have the issue that Air had that came out too early in the year. All of the Strangers came out. The issue it had is Searchlight didn't give a shit about it.
Yes. Okay. All right. I want to talk about that. The movies, for the most part, that got in are the movies that the studios backed very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the case. Like when I was at Telluride, they put out All of Us Strangers. It had some buzz, but you can tell right then and there the movie they cared more about was Poor Things.
Of course.
And it's been constant. The conversation has been constant about it. I mean, listen, I'm going to give I love Amazon, all things aside of some stuff decisions they made early on this year. Um, Amazon, Justin and the team over there did such an amazing job trying to push Saltburn as much as they could. And I told them immediately after seeing American Fiction, that was the horse. That was the horse to bet on. And, I get it. They have to put the love around. They have to try to push Air. They have to try to push Saltburn. But we all knew American Fiction was going to be it. As soon as it played at TIFF and it won the People's Choice, that was the movie that they had to push. And they try, they did a really good job of trying to push multiple films, but they really just kind of wasted money, unfortunately, on those other two movies. But again, I think we all kind of came around and had that come to Jesus moment, and we were like, okay, American Fiction is going to be the Amazon movie they should push. And here
Well,
we are.
I think they thought they could get 2 or maybe even 3 in, and the reality
Yeah,
is
but I mean,
obviously it didn't happen.
Saltburn was so divisive. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
thing, and
Yep.
I enjoyed the movie more than you did, for sure. But, I also can call, I can call a spade and look at a movie and go like, this is completely inaccessible. And again, going back to, the film Twitter bubble and the critic bubble, it's like the average person watching that movie is not liking it. I'm sorry. And that always what it comes down to. I mean, the only movie that I think you and I are both in agreement on as to like there's always a shock, and then I think that's Poor Things. Like I don't think a lot of the average people like Poor Things, but like
No
it's
question,
the movie
it's,
it's the
it's
movie that got
championed
in.
by Hollywood. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
you knew it
championed
was
by
gonna
Hollywood.
get in. I mean, I find it abhorrent, but that's
Yeah.
just, me apparently and a few others, but we knew it would get in here. Again, these are the best pictures. We're looking at them right now on the screen, Scott. These are the PGA 10. It's that simple. PGA
Yeah.
nailed all 10 films this year. I thought Color Purple would get in and Zone of Interest would get out. Now, let me tell
I
you
mean,
why. I wasn't.
zone of interest for me real quick. Can I just say, I
Yep.
mean, this is something where like that one actually kind of surprises me.
Well, no, listen, I called it. I said it was going to be. Let me go back to my reaction tweet. I said it's going to be a heavy Oscars contender across the board because of its subject matter. Not just that, but the artistic value of the film and the uniqueness of it. The fact that Michael Levi did not get a nomination for
Oh,
score,
I mean, I
and
know, yeah.
excuse me, American Fiction for score. You could play me that score again and I wouldn't remember any of it. Like there's certain scores that are just they're part of the movie. They're not anything that elevates. I'm not saying it's a bad score because I would have noticed that too, but it certainly isn't one of the 5 best scores. But Zone of Interest is here because of the subject matter and because of the artistic value of it and its timeliness right now in the world as well. I had it in all year long, and then I said, I'm going to pull it out, Scott, because I said it'll get International Feature win. So maybe the Academy will say it'll get its love there, so we'll sneak Color Purple in. But again, Color Purple goes home with 1 nomination. Big Loser, Ferrari Big Loser, All of Us Strangers, Saltburn, and Air. And back to Air, for those of us just joining just stream here this morning. By the way, thanks for being here. Give me a like for not just me, for Scott, for both of us getting up at 5:30. I barely got on the stream in time to do this morning because it's early as hell here in LA. But, when you look at these films that missed, and Air in particular, the reason that Air missed is the fact that it was out back in March of last year. And for a film to be able to carry any kind of Oscars momentum from that point in the release cycle all the way through essentially 1 year is virtually impossible. Now, Scott, there's people out there screaming, and they're going to say 3 films. 1, Get Out. 2, Black Panther. 3,
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere. What do those 3 films have in common? What does Air not have in common with that? Okay, let's just be on. That's the reality. There are certain exceptions for films, but in general, if you release too early in the year, you're going to get screwed at the end of the year. Here's the question I pose to you. If Air is released in October or November, does it make it onto the Best Picture list? I say yes. I say
I
no
mean,
question.
I think so too. And I think what the problem is for Air was the release date and the fact that, you know, there's nothing really out of the ordinary about it. As much as I like Air, I
But it's a
just don't think
feel-good film. I mean, we
it's
just had
it's a
Coda
feel good.
win. I know you love Coda, but
I
talk
love
about.
Coda,
But
but
okay, which is a bigger
Coda had so much
film?
things going for it, right? I mean,
I
not
know,
only does the
but
movie have feel good moments in it, but I mean, it has the elevation of deaf actors. You happen right after a pandemic when you just wanted to feel together and that love of family and being able to come together. I mean,
But from a filmmaking perspective, Scott, you know that's a Hallmark Channel movie. Come on, you know it is. It is. Just is. It is.
it's not as beautifully directed as other films. I told you how I feel about Kodai's direction. I
Oh,
just feel like it doesn't need the flashy direction. It doesn't need it at all. But
yes, I no, I hear
anyway,
you, but
like but
still, but okay. Can I?
air
No, I'm gonna attack
yeah.
you right now because I'm sorry. You so okay, fine, but either did when you go back and you look at the sound. I literally forgot Sound of Metal. Go back and look at Sound of Metal. That's a film that doesn't necessarily need to fly, but yet Darius Martyr destroys. Absolutely kills the direction on that.
It's a
So
different type of film, though. Like the
I
tone and
know,
everything of it is
but
completely different.
I'm just saying, it's
The
whatever.
direction matches the simplicity of the story for Coda. That's how I
Yeah, I
feel
just
about
want a little bit more. I just want something more. I'm just glad I didn't see Cord Jefferson in direction because that's a very average direction on that film as well. So at least here, let's look at direction because I've got it up right now. We have Anatomy of a Fall. So
it.
that's
That's a
another
great
huge
pick, by
winner.
the way. That's a
Huge.
great pick. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, especially for editing. For editing, it's a tremendous pick. Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and then Zone of Interest. So Glazer, Lanthimos, Nolan, Scorsese, and
I mean,
Trier.
this category is boring because we all know who's winning this category.
Of course. Well, it better be. It better be
Yeah.
because he's the most deserving. Killers of the Flower Moon did miss. We totally. That's what happens when you hear these things the first time around. You go. Sometimes you miss some of the huge snubs. Killers of the Flower Moon did not get a screenplay. That is crazy to me.
The
But
screenplay's not that great, dude. I mean,
well,
like
come
seriously,
on.
when you rewatch that movie,
It's
I'm
better
sorry.
than. Hold on. Let me pull the five up.
I'm
It's
gonna
better
say I'm
than.
gonna say this right now. I'm telling you, the true test of watching a lot of movies is rewatching them.
Well, you're not. I'm not going to watch every movie twice,
Well,
Scott.
dude, but when you're voting for stuff, if you're doing it the right way, you should give it another view. In my
Listen. I watched
opinion,
the first half of it. I didn't finish the
dude,
second
I
half.
can't.
It's
I
a
couldn't even. It was such a chore to sit through the second time
Well,
because
so are most films.
well, not the holdovers. The
Well,
holdovers gets
yes, I
better and
agree.
better every
Holdovers
single
is
time you
definitely
watch it.
rewatchable. Hold on,
I mean, Jesus, I saw that the second time and I liked it even more.
let me get support.
American
Here we
Fiction
go.
lost something on a second viewing. I'm not going to lie about that either.
Well, yeah. Well, no. The problem with American Fiction is that it's very much of an episodic television.
Yeah, it's overstuffed.
Yeah, I don't want to have all those characters. I'm not watching a TV show. Okay, so here's adapted. You've got American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. So Zone of Interest, listen, of all the things about Zone of Interest, I would suggest that the screenplay is not really where I would put that. I understand why, because of the direction that Glazer took the film, because that is essentially screenplay, right? He set that film in the most unique of ways, and yet still managed to capture the horrors of the Holocaust in a way that we never have seen, and that's why it's there. But I still think that you have to put Killers in here over Zone of Interest, and the rest of this all works. I mean, Poor Things, obviously for me as well, does not belong here. And I've had, I had a direct message from someone the other day, and let's just savage Poor Things again because why not? Is here's the thing. Someone got to me. It's happening a lot, by the way, Scott, because they know I'm the person who's out in front of this film and hammering it repeatedly. So they're coming to me going, why are we celebrating a film? And you know where I'm going with this, and I know it's early, everybody, but too bad. You got to listen. You got to face facts, and we talk about realities here on MMT more than anything else. You're going to tell me that a film where a woman has her unborn baby's brain implanted into her head, and then she goes on to have the sexual exploits across Europe, okay, and then eventually in a whorehouse with a baby's brain, okay, even if she is maturing at a quote fast level, which some people actually will argue, she still is essentially a toddler slash young person, right? I mean, like a child, because look, when she first has sex with Mark Ruffalo's character, what does she say? She says, "Ooh, that feels good. Oh, can we do that again, that thing?" That's very much of a childish reaction. now you guys are starting to see it. When I say this, other people are seeing it too. So why are we celebrating a film like that? That is disturbing. That is not something you guys got to rethink your position on Poor Things. I know you don't, Scott, because you were on it from day one. But now that we really drilled down, that is not a film that you want to be celebrating as some artistic achievement.
Yeah. I mean, it's so crazy because I know you have such like I mean, I did not, my overall take on Poor Things was not a positive one, and I said this before. I think it's Yorgos goes so overboard with everything on that movie. It's like tuned up to like 1,000. Like it's just too much. I appreciate elements of that movie of the artistic style, like all the creative arts categories that it gets in, especially costume design and production design. It's very hard not to recognize the brilliance of that in the movie. Um, and I don't think Emma Stone should win, but I do understand like why people like the performance because it's out there, it's bold, it's wacky. I agree with you on the subject matter. I mean, it's something about that is off. I said that. I'll say it again so people can go online because if I haven't been trashed enough this week, I'll say it again. I think the screenplay of that movie is a problem. It feels like fake feminism. I mean, the movie just feels like fake
Oh,
feminism to me.
100%.
And I'm not, and I'm sorry. I know people are like, "Fuck this guy for saying that."
No, I
It
don't
has
care.
Emma
You
Stone as a producer, but like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My wife had the same reaction when she
It
saw it.
someone said it's an accessible film if you have a dark side to you. I would agree with that. So a couple things here. I want to quickly. Someone said, "Can you go off on Ruffalo?" You missed the stream when we first started. When he was on there, I went off. That's a Razzie performance. Ruffalo is embarrassing as that film goes on.
I get it because
It's
here's the thing.
terrible. It's terrible.
The thing about Ruffalo, right, is that it's again, I think that's a very like divisive performance, and I think again, you got to remember a lot of this stuff that happens, and people always forget this. But a lot of the things when it comes to actors is very much like kind of a popularity contest, and Mark Ruffalo is very well liked and respected within the industry.
I get it. I'm just not going to give him for that film. I mean, I told you the other on the stream the other night. I'm like, take it down from a 12 to like an 8. I mean, he's like peaking.
Yeah.
The meter's like banging, right? The mic banging. He's way out of control in that film, and I know that's
Why
kind of
does
the
the
thing.
Academy
It's
hate William
laughable.
Dafoe so much? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's a great question. I would definitely have him here over Ruffalo. But I think this is a great comment here. Why do they not nominate Cooper for direction? Remember, we
I
always
mean, that's baffling. It's the best part of the movie.
that's the thing. You have to identify where a film excels, and that's direction. I would take him over Lanthimos. I would take him over who else do we have in there? Trier. I don't know. Everyone else is okay. I'm okay with it.
She should get it.
I would
mean,
get
no,
rid of
I'm sorry.
Lanthimos and put in Bradley Cooper because Lanthimos,
I mean, dude, that's
how again I
Greta,
can't say it enough.
That's where Greta Gerwig gets in. I mean, Greta Gerwig gets in over
Oh,
Bradley
well,
Cooper. I mean, like, what she
yeah,
achieved
ooh.
with the movie,
I want both of them in, and I want Yorgos out. That's those two.
I mean, everyone wants Yorgos out.
Gerwig, listen, Gerwig is like that's one of the biggest losses here today for Barbie. Clearly, Gerwig and Margot Robbie. That's a 1-2 hammer job, and that's brutalizing for
let me
Warner
ask you
Brothers.
something,
It's also
Eric.
brutalizing for their chances when you don't have those. I thought that Barbie had a chance to win. I'm not saying it was. I think it's going to be Oppenheimer at the end of the day that wins Best Picture. But I thought that maybe we could see some kind of situation where people go, "Oh, Barbie was an achievement. It has 1.4 plus billion worldwide. It did so much for theatrical. I mean, not that did much for Top Gun Maverick last year, but when it came to awards. But as we talk about the possibility, I think it's over now for Barbie, and we're looking at
really
essentially.
So, I mean, you don't think it could pull either an Argo or a Coda in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, technically, yes, you're right. I mean,
because remember,
can I hammer Coda again?
No, you can't. Not with me on the stream. Not with me on the stream.
I know he's like the number one stan for Coda. All right, go ahead.
Oh my god, I love Coda so much. But I gotta say though, like even just like thinking back again, the things that the Oscars have shown, and I mean, I'm gonna say this right now. The number one thing that's gonna be the make or break for a lot of things now is going to be SAG. SAG is
Right.
gonna be
That's
the big
yep. It's
one
coming up because it is,
because
and then of course
it's been the
BAFTAs.
one.
We've
Yeah,
seen
I know.
BAFTAs last segment come
BAFTA's
in
No,
like
dude, BAFTA last year was so off. I mean, go through it last year.
okay, but let's
I
just
mean,
go
they
back
were
a
so
few
off.
years. But go back a few years and you look at Olivia Colman out in right. She
Yeah.
wins BAFTA. Boom, she wins actress. So it happens. I'm just saying all those
But there's
two
always like
clearly are
those
going to be the
one-off
thing.
things. But like if you're looking now through the history of stuff, like PGA has been like really on the money. SAG has been really on the money.
This is a great comment by Simone. Film Twitter's too emotional. They
Yes, they
don't
are.
listen. It's what I love is on a morning like this is we get to bash Film Twitter again for Zac Efron, for Charles Melton, for everything they're wrong about all the time. Saltburn. They just don't see films in the reality that they are. They see them in a warped sense, and I think exactly too emotional. You've got to be grounded in this. You can still love a film, but you got to understand that the chances of it winning anything are very low. Like we both love Iron Claw, but we knew that
Yes,
this
I love
film
Iron Claw.
just wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen again. 0 nominations for the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
Well, no. Listen, Eddie's here. Welcome to the channel, by the way, new viewer. Godzilla -1 did get visual effects, so that's all it deserves. I mean, I know this is going to get people angry about Godzilla -1, but the drama that is duct taped to that film is not good. Okay, it's laughable at times. Like when the city's getting pulverized by Godzilla and she throws him into the alley and she's like, oh, she's alive at the end. She has Godzilla blood in her. I mean, this is terrible. I think that film is hellaciously overrated, and I love Godzilla movies. So I think it's at least it got something. The films that lost today are the 4 I mentioned there when I put the thing together last night. It's Air.
I mean, we all. I mean,
it's All of Us
all knew
Strangers.
that.
All of Us Strangers
all
is
knew
okay,
that.
but no. All of Us Strangers is the one that should be here. It's a total Academy film, right? Would you agree with that? And it's not represented anywhere.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. And we are going to that's where you have to attack. Forget Saltburn, okay? As much as we love Iron Claw,
Saltburn should have got like a cinematography. You can't deny that.
Well, but it's always a competitive. It's always a competitive thing, right? And then El Conde, which I never got around to, I looked at some of that cinematography. It looked amazing. Right? It looked like, and I'll probably go in and watch that just now for cinematography because I'm a huge cinematography fan. I mean, who isn't? You have to be. So, and that's another reason why Coda. I'm going to hammer Coda again. All right, hold on. Ricardo's in here. A new viewer. Welcome to MMT. I'm not surprised Margot Robbie didn't get nominated. Overlap. I think she was playing herself, and her role cannot be compared to the other nominees. The funny thing is that is fair. I thought the same thing when I watched the film. She gets better as the film goes on.
Someone said that to me. So another, I'm not going to name who, but I had a conversation with an actress over the weekend, and something similar was said.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing. At first I didn't even have her as one of the 5, and then she started making all these. She was on every list, right? She was showing up everywhere, so you have to put her in there. But I have no problem with her being out. I'm just saying, from a Warner.
You don't? I mean, I feel like there's just those certain moments in that movie where, like,
yes,
she really elevates.
She's better than Annette Bening. Okay, can we just focus on this because I actually sat through Nyad. She's better. Annette Bening in Nyad has many times that have you seen? Do you remember Nyad? Watch it. There's times where you go, oh, that's not good. That's not a good scene.
You remember when I called you from Telluride? There's an MMT stream where I said to you, you asked me who's better, and I said Jodie Foster. And then you said, I'm going to tell her when to go to the
yeah, she works out of my gym.
Yeah, because I told you that. Like, she's the one who was better out of the 2 actresses for me. I mean, but I had a feeling from there because it's the movie's a crowd pleaser, and people love those 2 actresses. So I had a feeling it was going to happen. But like again, it's like I'm going in this bubble because we all, you're so good at like staying out of the bubble, and I try really hard to stay out of the bubble, but every once in a while I fall victim to it.
Well, I mean, you have to be part of the bubble. You are more of the bubble than me. I'm a total outsider. I'm the lone wolf of this whole game. Here's and that's old Hollywood, right? Watch out! You're the people next door in the room are going to be like, "Why is this guy howling like a werewolf?" We have Annette, old Hollywood. She got a name brand. I would agree.
Yes,
That's
yes,
100%.
yes,
By the way,
yes,
Barbie.
yes.
100% not getting in Best Picture. That's what we said. I agree with that, just because of the snubs here this morning. And also welcome to the channel, Green Beans 15.
15.
Daniel Brooks gets in, so the one color purple, one thing, so it can say it's an Oscar-nominated film, although that's as low as just one little measly. Listen,
I mean, the fact that Napoleon got more nominations. No, three. Remember, 3.
Wait, what was the third? It got production design
I'm telling you, got
and
3,
makeup.
I'm pretty sure.
What the hell was the third? Maybe it was 3, but here, someone's surprised Fallen Leaves didn't get in. It was always.
Really.
Yeah,
really.
I liked the film, but I didn't see Io Capitano, and I certainly didn't see Society of the Snow because it's Netflix. I only made a few exceptions for Netflix, but I will say that Zone of Interest is winning that, so it doesn't even matter, right? At the end of the day, that's over. Visual effects, yeah. So Napoleon gets as best as it can. Ferrari got screwed. Air got screwed. All of Us Strangers and Saltburn, all those films that had a shot, right? We're not, Iron Claw never was in here, so we're just talking about the films that had a shot that didn't get in. But as we list the biggest snubs, recapping those of you just joining us here, MMT, thanks for being here on this Tuesday, very early morning for us here in LA. Got up at 5:30 to watch live from Beverly Hills down the street. Is that you have Greta Gerwig out as director, and you also have Margot Robbie not landing so it's Barbie. That's the big story here this morning. And then in score for me, American Fiction over Zone of Interest is bewildering at best. And so that's another snub that I find to be.
I'm telling you, my biggest surprise for this, I mean, and it's a weird category, but losing Disney not getting in at all for that short film. I mean, I know you don't know what it is.
No, I haven't watched any of the short.
But they did a whole presentation on it, and it's literally a celebration of the Disney legacy. Like it's literally like all the 100 years of animation, and the fact that they have done so poorly this year. And I was like, I mean, this is like baffling to me because I guess it goes to show you how much people are over Disney at this point, because it's such a legacy thing. Like you feel all the nostalgia of all the characters and all that stuff. Like that to me, it was like, if nothing else wins or nothing else gets in, that was going to get it. And the fact that it didn't get in, like, holy shit, like that's crazy.
Yeah, you know what? This is a good comment because
this is a good call.
Yeah,
good call,
because
good call,
Spider-Verse, Daniel Pemberton deserves to be there as well.
Pemberton deserves to be there.
Well, it's a legacy. It's legacy again. It's John Williams, right?
Yeah.
Here he is. Here, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster has a nomination along with American Fiction. Listen. Now that this is it.
You remember when Suicide Squad got in one of these categories?
But that was makeup, wasn't it? Was it something?
Yeah.
But for score, it's different because I hold score very sacred, and when you have that film, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse not getting a score, and American Fiction got a score, and this Dial of Disaster got a score.
You haven't seen Society of the Snow, Michael Giacchino.
Yes, I heard it was a good score. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Amazing score.
Hold on, let me pull up a score. Let me get it. Give me 1 second. Production design, animated, so we can have it right in front of us. But I'm telling you, I'm going to go back and listen to American Fiction again. It is.
Oh, you take Poor Things out. You take Poor Things out.
Oh, for sure. And American Fiction and Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Okay,
yes,
now let me pull. Hold on, let me show you. So I'm going to go to Ace, and I'll tell you what I had for mine that should have been in. Obviously, Pemberton. I would also put Michael Levi.
I had Pemberton in. I had Michael Giacchino in for me. It's so funny. I actually had American Fiction in for score.
What? I know they pushed it, but come on. I mean, listen, so for me, I had Oppenheimer. Here we go. Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That was number 2. Killers of the Flower Moon. It got in because Robbie Robertson, posthumous. That was coming no matter what. Poor Things, then Zone of Interest. So and then I had Barbie, because Barbie had a lot of, even though,
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, Barbie didn't get, hold on, where did I even, American Fiction is back at like the number 12 spot. Origin has a bit, by the way, Origin, 0 nominations. I liked Origin.
We knew that was going to happen.
Okay,
though.
but here's the thing, though. Hollywood pushed. I thought that maybe it could happen. It didn't happen. But look, these are all scores. Now, listen, I had Indiana Jones there. I had Saltburn's a better score than American Fiction. I mean, keep going. I mean, that's the thing, is I cannot believe that American Fiction is here for score. And again, what makes it worse is that when you have a surprise like that and you have something as great as Pemberton Spider-Man and it's not there, that's what magnifies it.
Yeah.
There, and here it is. Gone Girl's got it. I mean, these are huge misses, and you just can't miss like this, okay? And I know we're talking, for some of you, we're talking about things that you're like, but trust me, if you've seen all these films, you can't leave these elements of these certain films out. It's just an incredible whiff. And an incredible disservice to the people that did great work, because ultimately, as you know, anyone who's watched the channel, and Scott, this is why we get along so well. We're about merit. We're not about virtue signaling. We never have been.
No.
So you always, and I think listen, is it, I'm going to have to go here if it is. I think it might be. American Fiction is by a female composer. Now, I'm not suggesting that's why, but I'm telling you, those kind of things happen. It's just the way it works. They go, well, we have a female composer here. So, and then you're going to say Michael Levi, but Michael Levi, I believe, goes by they, thems. So he, they. That, right?
Yeah.
They. So
they, them, yep.
Yeah, so I'm just saying those little things do happen. They just do, and that's the thing. Like Eddie here, it's one of the best scores of the year.
Oh, I mean, listen, we're all going to be in agreement on this.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
had the see. Eric had the privilege of seeing Oppenheimer live.
Oh,
I had the privilege of seeing Spider-Man live.
Yeah,
and I mean, seeing him play that in real time. I mean, this is devastating. I mean, and like someone said in the comments, it was like, if it's not the best one, it's the second best one. I 100% agree with that. But again, I can say that at the end of the day, we always talk about this every year. There's always some really strange out there picks. There's always some strange surprises. I mean, there's been a couple of them across the board this year. But again, a lot of it's on the nose. Like, I feel like a lot of what we've seen today is on the nose, and it's just like some of these other categories.
Except for May, December, and original.
Oh, fuck!
I mean, you've got to be kidding me. That screenplay. Oh, with the one hilarious comedic line about, can you get some more hot dogs? Are you kidding me? That is, I've said it from day one when I finally got around to watching that film. That is a Hallmark Channel film. It's directed by Todd Haynes. This is another example of people overvaluing something from a director of merit. If this were directed by any random person, it would never be here. And again, also with Portman, with Moore, you've got, it has to be good. Listen, we don't do that shit. I'm never going to do something has to be good based on the pedigree of the director or the actors involved. Don't do that. And Netflix obviously pushed the shit out of this. I would have loved to see May, December get nothing, but isn't it something that it gets an original screenplay? But this is the only thing, right? Is it not? This is the only nomination. Isn't that something else for the original screenplay, which is a very big deal, and nothing else shows up this morning? It's baffling.
Eric, is there a possible upset in this category? I mean, listen, we both agree. I think we both said this multiple times that The Holdovers has the best screenplay of the year, right? Is there a possibility?
Anatomy of a Fall.
Yes, I think so too. That's what I was going to say.
I mean,
that Anatomy of a Fall might be able to.
It's a great screenplay.
So
if Anatomy wins, which of course, remember, it did win at Golden Globes when they only have the 5. They don't even have adapted and original. They only have 5 screenplays. It won there. So,
But Holdovers wasn't nominated there, right?
Correct. Which is crazy. But
which is crazy.
I think that we could absolutely be looking at that when you look at Anatomy of a Fall as a film, clearly screenplay and editing. So both those show up. So I'll tell you, there are some misses here this morning, no question about it. And score seems they never can get that right. But I
Nope.
do love seeing things like Anatomy of a Fall in editing and in original screenplay. Obviously, we
Yeah.
expected that, but editing's one because you go back, you've seen Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a
Yes.
Fall, one of the best scenes of the year
Oh
is
my
right
God.
where
Yeah.
where the dad is explaining the situation and they strip out dad's audio and put the son's voice in, right? They strip his voice out, but
Yeah.
that's editing. Those are choices, and that's exactly why you nominate that film in editing, and it's a big winner for Neon. It's we knew Neon wouldn't go home empty-handed. After they won Parasite, Neon's seen as a studio that has to have at least one film in. This is their one film. I know they hoped Origin would get in, but we pretty much knew that
No,
wasn't going to
Anatomy of
happen.
Fall. They knew it too from Telluride. I mean, I remember talking to the rep there, and she was like, "You have to see Anatomy of a Fall." And I mean, she's right. I mean, that movie's great. I mean, I'm so happy. The one person who I'm very happy for this morning is Sandra Huller for sure. Like, I'm really, really happy about that for
Yeah,
her.
and yeah, 100%. And so it's not like she didn't belong. She belongs there. I'm just surprised it's not
Yeah.
Gerwig too. Let's go. So first of all, someone said good lower tier Haynes. I mean, I would say
Oh, 100%.
I would say nadir tier Haynes, but that's fine.
Yes.
We also Napoleon did Sissick Patrick. It did get in. It got in. It was never going to get in Best Picture, right? It got in places that it was on
We were
the
both
border.
baffled by. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really a surprise with that. And then this is a comment I always love to address. Barbie is an adapted screenplay because here's the thing, even though it's original, here's my interpretation. I believe this is the rule interpretation. Any character that originates outside of that, if you've seen that character in the film in anything else, okay, then it has to be adapted. So Holdovers clearly is original because these are characters that Payne created, right? But when you look at Barbie's a doll. Barbie's appeared in all kinds of media. So it's
such
adapted.
a known franchise. Yeah.
Right.
Such
It's
a known
adapted.
franchise.
So that's why when they tried to put it in original, I understand what you're saying, Ricardo, but ultimately, if the character has originated in something else, then it has to be adapted. That's how I read it. That's how I would always, slot those things. There's gonna be some backlash for the Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie snub, no question. I mean, Gerwig for sure, but listen, they covered their ass by putting Trier in there, right? Because once you get her in,
they
at
can't
least
say
you have
there's
a
no
female
there's not a
director.
woman. Yeah.
You don't think they know that? They know that.
Yeah.
You have to cover your ass, so at least they mitigate the anger, right? They can say, "Well, but look, we have," so that helps. But it still is going to be the number one attack of these nominations, Gerwig and Robbie, and certainly a film Twitter. I mean, they're probably raging right now. I haven't spent any time on it yet, and I don't think I will today because I don't want to read all of that shit. And the Zac Efron miss, like, yeah, we knew that. We knew he was going to miss. So really, we've gone over, the big surprises as we get ready to wrap here because we've gone about an hour. I like to have replay value on this. So, guys, as much as I'd love to keep talking about the Oscars, and we could, I want to try to wrap the stream here in the next few minutes. But, Scott, I want to thank you for joining me, for sure, for getting up nice and early. And then I'll see you later today, right? We're going to meet out for a drink.
Later today.
Can't wait. So, what's your big takeaway from this morning? Then I'll give you mine.
that don't listen to film Twitter. I mean, like,
that's certainly one of them.
That's the one. I mean, Warner Brothers. I have to say, like, this is a bad day for Warner Brothers.
It is.
Like, it's a bad day for Warner Brothers.
I mean, but Barbie gets in virtually everywhere else, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
it didn't get in editing, by the way. I'm sorry.
I mean, Greta missing. I
know.
That's the one. I mean, I saw a world where Margot didn't get nominated. I mean, I definitely saw it.
Yep.
But, like, Greta missing.
Movies never say die.
Yeah.
Dial of Destiny score is forgettable. Well, the whole movie.
Awful.
The whole movie.
Oh,
my
awful.
God, the movie. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's absolutely 100% possible. because again has the Globe
So what
win.
is there a crazy world? Is there a crazy world where Anatomy of Fall might actually be a Best Picture winner?
It's got a lot of listen. It's everywhere. So it's got editing. It's got screenplay. It's got actress.
Yeah,
Right. So it's got the biggies.
it seems like there's a path.
Director.
Yeah, there's a
So
path.
it's got everything, right? So Anatomy of a Fall versus Holdovers versus
Oppenheimer.
I think those are the only, which is a great call about Anatomy of a Fall. We're talking about could it win a screenplay? Well, I'm telling you what, you win screenplay, you have a chance at picture. So
Yeah.
clearly those are your three that have the best shot of getting here. By the way, Payne missed, correct? I mean, my God, it's been going so
Yeah,
fast.
but
Payne did not
I
get in.
mean, Payne
Yeah, I know.
missed
Yeah.
for politics, and
Yep.
I mean, we all
I
know
know,
that.
but remember, I remember the DGA had the 5, and I said I don't feel like this is going to be our 5,
no.
and it really wasn't. Director, I think I want to say that I went on record saying that you couldn't get me beyond Nolan and Scorsese. You couldn't pay me to touch director. I thought
No, I
Gerwig
know,
was
I
in.
know.
Director was the wildest category, and we saw it happen this morning where you had a combination of like 8, 9, 10 people, and look what happened. I guarantee nobody nailed all the directors. Nobody. That was it was impossible to nail that, and I knew it. I said that of all the most volatile category was director.
How many did
and
you
that's
get
exactly
right on
what
that?
happened.
Out of curiosity.
Oh my God, 2? I think I got 2.
I got 3 out of 5 on that category.
Who'd you have in there, Trier?
I had Trier in there, I had Gerwig in there, and I had Alexander Payne just because of the momentum that it was getting. I took the wild shot.
What hurt me is I took Yorgos out and put Cooper in along with Payne.
Oh, okay.
I know. I was just saying I really thought Cooper would get in here and he didn't. But I knew Celine Song wasn't getting in.
Screenplay was like the one for Mastro. Again, people are always like, "Oh, Scott, you don't like Mastro." Here's the thing. I can take a film, and even though I don't like it overall, there's certain things that I really think are strong about that movie.
You extract the elements.
You extract the elements, and to me, again, you go into that movie and you go, direction is strong in that movie. Screenplay, like the screenplay, like there's 2 or 3 really great scenes in the movie, but like only one of them is really about like the acting and the dialogue.
And that's what we're talking about is extracting, knowing the elements that pop, and that's why going back to Spider-Verse score, you have to have it.
Oh my God!
So
I cannot.
It's crazy, isn't it? I will see you later today, Scott. I appreciate you being here this morning and joining us.
Worries.
Everybody say goodbye to Scott Menzel, good friend of mine. Everyone. I'll see him later, and we'll have a drink. Thanks for joining us here this morning on the Oscars reaction stream as we get ready to wrap here. And I want to thank everybody for being on the stream this morning. MMT is a channel that I love bringing to you because it's all about truth in film and being unvarnished and fearless in what we say. And if you like what you saw here this morning, join us again. Live streams every Sunday night at 8:30 here in Los Angeles, 11:30 on the East Coast, and then reactions as we see fit throughout the week. Big movies we go live for. The smaller stuff, we'll just shoot a quick reaction outside the theater. But until I see you next time on MMT, thanks for being here this morning. Peace out, and we'll discuss film again soon in the future. Thanks for being here.